The nation's highest court upholds California's new voter-approved congressional districts. The man convicted of trying to assassinate Donald Trump learns his sentence today in court. And a new judge is appointed to fill a vacancy at the Shasta County Superior Court.
Covering Northern California. You're watching Action News Now. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking news, the Supreme Court has allowed California to use a new voter-approved congressional map favorable to Democrats in this year's elections, rejecting a last-ditch plea from state Republicans and the Trump administration. No justices dissented from the brief order. They had previously allowed Texas's Republican-friendly map to be used in 2026, despite a lower court ruling that it likely discriminates on the basis of race. The justices' unsigned order today keeps in place districts that are designed to flip up to 5 seats currently held by Republicans, part of a tit-for-tat nationwide redistricting battle. New at noon, we called to investigate after viewers reported seeing helicopters and vehicles from the Butte County Sheriff's Office and Fish and Wildlife in the area of the Oroville Dam spillway. The Sheriff's Office tells us just after 4 yesterday, a 13-year-old girl was walking with her father near the spillway when they became separated. She got lost and called 911. Search and rescue and state park rangers worked together to locate the lost girl and reunite her with her dad within about 20 minutes. The man found guilty of attempting to assassinate Donald Trump was sentenced to life in prison today. Ryan Routh sentenced to life plus a mandatory additional 7 years for a firearm offense. He was convicted of trying to kill Trump, then a presidential candidate, at Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach in September of 2024. Prosecutors say Routh remains totally unrepentant. He represented himself during the trial, but the court-appointed attorney who helped him prepare for his sentencing hearing says he will likely appeal. This is a live look from the Oregon House Alert California camera. You're seeing beautiful conditions today. Blue skies. We're starting to see some, beautiful green vegetation growing, and it definitely is a lot more like spring. Meteorologist Hannah Harding has a look at what you can expect for the day ahead.
Well, good afternoon, Linda. We are taking a look at infrared satellite once again, just highlighting what looks to be an atmospheric river starting to really take shape across the Pacific. That's going to impact the Pacific Northwest through the weekend, but I do think we're going to avoid the worst of that system, which is good news for us. We're looking at Tom Head Lookout, some of the snow caps off in the distance there, but bluebird skies and abundant sunshine in the forecast for today. No precipitation out there expected. We're looking at sunny skies in the northern mountains here. Lots of 60s and even near 70-degree readings in the northern mountains. Really warm today with high pressure above. 50s and 60s as you head down towards the Sierra through the southern Cascades and into the foothills here, more 70s in the forecast. Check out Redding today. Forecast high of 76, almost pushing 80 as we head down towards the mid-valley, some 60s and 70s. But we'll look at your forecast in more detail coming up.
All right, thank you, Mikel. New at noon, Governor Gavin Newsom has appointed a Siskiyou County attorney to serve as a judge at the Shasta County Superior Court. Ryan Burrs has been owner of Ryan H. Burrs Attorney at Law since 2018. He received a Juris Doctor degree from the University of California School of Law in San Francisco. Burrs fills the vacancy created by the retirement of Judge Monique D. McKee. Today, the Chico Unified School Board could vote to bring back a discussion about recently approved video surveillance system. Board member Tom Lando wants to discuss the board's $2 million contract with Riverside Technologies for a camera and video surveillance system using Verkada technology. That contract was approved at a meeting in December. A teacher reached out to Action News Now, raising concern about the AI facial recognition technology. Lando told us he wants to discuss it publicly at a future meeting in the interest of transparency. Public Works employees filled the Chico City Council chambers last night for the presentation about possibly outsourcing to save money. Department heads say it's more cost-effective to use current city staff. The city already contracts out for about 30% of work that cannot be completed by staff. The recommendation is to continue using the current hybrid model.
And I think our directors pointed out, I think it was important for us to hear that we do deploy a hybrid model. We do that probably in every department throughout our city. In fact, we have it here tonight. If you looked around as far as how we handle security. It's a hybrid model. That's healthy. But we can't be afraid at least having a conversation, particularly when that unfunded liability is $180 million. Does not mean we want to get rid of any of our staff, but we at least have to have an honest conversation and be real about that and be adults about it.
The council also voted to move forward with a new bike and e-bike speed limit in Bidwell Park's recreation loops. The council unanimously approved a 15-mile-per-hour speed limit at 1 mile and 5 mile, and the loop that includes Peterson Memorial Drive, South Park Drive, and nearby pedestrian paths. The police department will handle replacing signs, increasing enforcement, and educating bike riders. The Reading Civic Auditorium will stay open for now. After a long discussion last night, City Council members approved emergency funding that will allow Advance Reading to continue operating the auditorium through the end of June. It's on the condition that Advance Reading submit a new business plan outlining a long-term sustainable path for operations, provide quarterly financial reports to the City Council, and appoint Mayor Mike Lataw as a non-voting member of its board. The issue will come back before the City Council in May. Well, you can expect to see smoke today from a Chico Fire Department training burn. It's happening at the Chico Fire Training Center and will continue until about 4 o'clock this afternoon. People near Highway 32 and Humboldt Road may see smoke or fire activity. You are asked not to call 911. A new development in the tense relationship between the U.S. and Iran. U.S. officials say a Navy jet shot down an Iranian drone, claiming it was aggressively approaching a U.S. aircraft carrier that President Trump recently sent to the region. Charlie D'Agata has details.
U.S. military officials say an American F-35 fighter jet shot down a hostile Iranian Shahed drone in the Arabian Sea after it flew towards a U.S. aircraft carrier operating in the region. A dramatic escalation amid soaring tensions between the two countries.
It was unmanned. It was acting aggressively towards our USS Lincoln, which we know that aircraft carrier is in the region at the direction of President Trump.
The Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier is the centerpiece of a dozen warships, including multiple guided missile destroyers and squadrons of fighter jets in the massive military buildup in the region. The Pentagon said one of those destroyers, in a second incident, came to the aid of a U.S.-flagged oil tanker that had been threatened by 2 Iranian boats and a drone.
They are negotiating. They'd like to do something, and we'll see if something is going to be done.
The military confrontations come amid threats by President Trump to attack Iran if the regime doesn't abandon its nuclear ambitions. And following a violent crackdown last month that left thousands of protesters dead. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has warned of a regional conflict if the U.S. bombs again as it did nearly 8 months ago.
That was Charlie D'Agata reporting. The White House confirmed that talks with Iran will still go ahead as scheduled, led by Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, despite rising tensions in the region.